And we're live on Twitch for the first time. God, look at that
Hey,
primo quality.
hey,
It's probably
Twitch.
because
Ayo.
I'm also recording this. But welcome to
Whoa.
episode... Are we on 4 or 5? Did I label this right? I think we're on 5.
I think this is 4.
I didn't pick. Cool. So this we just have the episode name and the name of the
Episode
series
this
that we're
one.
doing. Yeah. Since this is our first little Twitch live stream, we dropped one of our players like 3 seconds before we were able to start. So we're going with one leg and two arms into this. If you guys haven't watched the show at all, we have a YouTube channel that I'll be uploading this VOD onto when we're done, and the rest of the episodes can be found over there, along with a bunch of weird one-shots and a little bit of one game that we're starting. We did, like 1.5 intro episodes, and now we're moving over to Twitch. Big brain on my part, but, you know, all the VODs are going to drop over there.
Perfect.
I guess we can kind of just drop right into this. Hopefully the audio's working. We don't have any feedback, so I can't tell, but hopefully we're fine. Twitch says we're okay. Does anyone want to describe kind of what happened with last session? We gave the whole boot of what the campaign is, but if you guys want to reiterate, I'm happy to hear someone else's perspective on the situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
You go for it. Okay.
No, you. No, you.
Fine. Basically, last time
That's right.
on Tall Tales, we awoke in a daze after crashing the dirigible into the sands. We gathered what supplies, food, and water that we could scavenge on the ship, and we started walking, following Light's guidance, because Light could read the stars, so our characters were led to believe.
Give us a little more info. What dirigible and what is Light?
A dirigible of Zarkon Industries that we boarded with. We were coerced by the squirrels. Listen.
Okay, so
we were coerced by the cloud hoppers, which are known to target Zarkon Industries dirigibles, which is a leader.
those are the Tempests, not the
The
Cloud
Tempests?
Hoppers. Yeah, the
Okay,
Tempests
the
are the
Tempests.
bandit crew.
The bandit crew that are infamous for targeting Zarkon Industries ships and basically any sailing ships, scrapping them for parts, taking supplies, what have you. We were on the ship. We were taken hostage, kind of, and we had this whole plan to escape. But at the same time that we touched down with our squirrels, we turned on the squirrels, fought them back, and made our way in and started fighting with the crewmates. And like a takeover happened into a mutiny, happened to save the ship. It was a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
We're the only
kind of
survivors.
folded into itself like 4 times.
I was there too.
Long story short, we escaped the squirrels. We crashed the dirigible. We're the only survivors. We made sure. And then we met Light on Dunes.
Light upon Dunes.
Light upon
Light
the
upon
moon.
Dunes. We met Light upon Dunes on the dirigible at Tabaxi. And we started following Light upon Dunes' guidance through the desert because they said they could read the stars. And then we were chased down by a rock, or was it a rock?
A giant roadrunner.
A giant
decided
roadrunner,
to
yeah.
hunt you for its meal and quickly learned that its life would end that day. You guys
Yep.
fucking destroyed that thing. That was scary.
Yep. We kicked its ass, and then we came upon a large robot that was actually a tiny robot inside, or a hell walker, hell bender, hell
Hell
dweller.
And why are Hell Dwellers important, and what is the purpose of this mech that you found? Because these are major history lore things.
Tabby.
Hell dwellers are like old machinery from like eons past that's kind of been possessed, came back to life, and
Specifically, a
ancient history
bygone
attacked.
age where a electrical grid literally spanned the entire world, and when it shattered, they went haywire.
old robots.
Yeah.
And apparently they usually come in flavors of red. We found a blue one. That's interesting. And the robot that it was piloting was like scrapped pieces, like reconstructed into a robot from a not ancient, just old Saurian explorer who
Very
mysteriously disappeared.
Within the past 10 years, actually, this happened. I think he said it's been 8 years since the captain went to sleep.
Captain
So
Vasak.
this is a major historical discovery that they kind of accidentally stumbled upon in the middle of a desert. According to legend and rumor, this thing that they found in the desert is supposed to be Vasak, who is a renowned explorer who found basically a race of people that we used to think were legend. Like he literally found like gnomes or angels in our reality. Like he just went through the sky in a vessel, found them, and as we understand it, they killed him. And there was a major kind of PR thing of Zark, not Zarkon. I think you're thinking of Zircon from...
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank. Zark Industries, the CEO being Zark Muckerberg, a lizard person.
Right.
I forgot we made that decision.
Naturally.
Zark Industries basically said, we have lost a beautiful explorer to these weird alien legend people, and we're deeming them dangerous. We think that you shouldn't try and explore anymore. So they banned aerial exploration, period, because he died, and he was one of the most well-known ones. And then, lo and behold, you find his ship in the middle of the desert where it probably shouldn't be. And you found the engine to his vehicle, which happened to be a sentient robot in the ground that can power anything. This guy's fucking crazy, and he's like that tall. But you found him. He tried to fight you. You guys showed that you were no harm, and he decided to. He has since reconstructed the ship into a mech, and he's been defending the dead pilot. But now that he knows that the pilot's actually dead, he has used this mech to guide you guys to a settlement before you die of dehydration, because in this setting, water is incredibly scarce. And that's where we're starting the actual episode, is you guys coming across a settlement that was more or less designed by some commenters on YouTube in the community panel, because we skipped a couple weeks, and we like to let you guys, and as well as the players, basically define the world and the setting. So as we go, obviously we have this donation bar that we can't use because we're not monetized on Twitch. But we like to have the show be as interactive as possible. So occasionally we'll ask for suggestions. You guys can throw some out, and we'll use them if we think that they're fun. You guys are coming across this settlement that has been defined previously. It is a massive settlement in the middle of this desert that is kind of an offset. You guys have, I imagine, crossed through the dunes into a savanna, and then at the edge of that savanna, you have found a large ravine. Excuse me. And in the center of this ravine is what looks like rivers of slurry and sludge running through aqueducts and systems. You see gondolas running across them, and is a gondola a boat, or is it also the things that go like up and down mountains?
I think it's both.
It's both. Okay,
Yeah.
I was right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
it's
have people on boats running through this desert like sludge, and as well as people crossing ropes on either side of this ravine. The entire settlement looks like it's built into the walls, layered into this descending area that you guys have just now arrived at the edge of. We decided the kind of social structure that they have here, and we'll get into that as we play. But you guys, carried by this four-armed robot, carrying each of you in one hand as it continues its vessel movement forward, finally collapses about 200 feet away from the edge of this ravine.
Like exhaustion collapses, or just like slows down, powers down?
Slows down and powers down.
Okay.
I just kind of speak up. Well, there it is. Haven't been here for a while, but that's definitely the town.
What was the name of this place again?
Yeah. I don't know what it's locally called. We just always called it the river path, just because there's a lot more liquids here than we used to in my settlement.
Liquids. Like, you don't mean
Not drinkable water for the most part,
Okay.
but there is a good bit of water here.
okay.
While we're at it, if anyone would like to pick an actual official name for this town, I'm fine with that.
Naming a place, that's an important question.
This place is
I'm gonna go
called
with River Rath. Where it's
Whale
Bangton.
rod.
plankton.
I said vein ton, like just like vein of mining.
Oh, Vein
I don't
Town. Yeah.
The crack.
The crack.
That's kind of cool.
The desert's crack. Yeah, let's just go with the crack.
Mhm.
I feel like that suits this town, honestly.
All right, I'm down with
the
it.
crack.
You're at the edge of the crack, a place that Light Upon Dunes has directed you to and is familiar with. So you're probably going to take charge of how you guys maneuver this place.
All right, I didn't speak up and say, yes, I remember now. It's called the Crack. It's
Crack.
a fitting name to say the least. It's not really the best of towns, but it has certain supplies you can't get much elsewhere.
I'll take your word on that. An interesting
Water.
name.
We should get water.
Yes,
Elnor's just like face
Yes.
down in the sand.
I am quite famished and parched myself. Let us to the crack.
As excited as I am, what shall we do about our friend here?
Oh,
I can just stay with the mech until you guys are done.
that works perfectly.
Okay. I will stay right here. And
Yes, my friend.
You
Is,
glowy rock.
yeah, the tiny little robot powering this giant mech just pops out and immediately goes to work on repairing, mending, and shining the material that its ship is made out of.
All right.
that settles that. Come on then. As
Okay, I'm sorry. 1 second. I think my I'll let her play with it. My cat has a dead meadow vole in my living room that she's playing with. That's really tragic.
a dead what?
Meadow vole, it looks like a tiny mouse.
A vole. Is
Oh,
VOLE.
Tiny.
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like what cryptid is that? I haven't heard of that one.
That's
It's
a
just-
meadow cryptid sounds fucking awesome.
Mhm.
I'll let my roommate know. Sorry, continue.
It's okay. Right. New friend is gonna stay here with the mech, and let's go into this town and see if we can get some supplies, some water, food, before heading back out. Possibly. Yes. Okay.
Let's go. As I start to lead them down into it, and so as we're leading, heading down to it, I imagine we're kind of on top of a ridge, and we climb down, start to head toward the entrance of the town.
What is the entrance of this place like? Because you've been here before. How do people get down into the crack?
So I kind of imagine it is a literal kind of trench dug into the ground, like a much Grand Canyon on a lot smaller scale, and we're kind of toward the top ridge of it. So I just kind of show them a little side path that I've taken every now and then, where we hop down a few ledges and start to crawl to the outskirts of it.
Okay, and since this is a relatively commercial town, a lot of people come here to restock. I imagine these ways down are pretty wide. Do you deal with a lot of security when you come here?
I would assume there's probably a rough presence of just like keeping an eye on who's going in and out. Like I imagine the gang force or whatever runs this town has at least a few ruffians kind of stay placed on each one that don't really do a good job of like fully inspecting everyone, but just kind of make sure no one too suspicious is walking in.
Okay.
Bunch of guys in leather vests.
Yeah, I'll say that at the
They're all tunnel
entrance,
snakes.
it looks like there's a couple of pretty large beast folk. I can't think of any desert dwelling mammals. There's probably like a huge camel guy just chilling out here.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And then, because he's dead, Bolinter, I'll add another boar folk to the
Okay.
entrance. But around them, in contrast to most societies where you see people with bodyguards, it looks like they have some weaker people kind of in their personal collective posse just around them. And one of them is just peeling a potato and looks at you very passively. The other one is just kind of gruff. And he gives all of you a full up and down eyeball. Neither of them say a word.
Me being light. Howdy there, my good sentinel. We've just come to take a little tour to town. As you've seen before, I have met you a few times, I believe. Aren't you Grok and Snock?
That's me.
Grok. All right, good to see you again.
So
Yeah, you know
it's
me.
Grok and Snock individually, or is that his full name?
That's to both of them.
Okay. Grok and Snock. Yeah. So Grok will address you. He's the larger camel guy that's given all of you a full eye, and he just kind of... Who are your friends?
Oh, travelers I met through my time in the desert.
Where'd they
We're
come
just
from?
all... Is a good question, actually. Y'all came from beyond the desert, didn't y'all?
In a manner of
Technically.
speaking, I haven't explored much beyond. Yes, we're just passing through.
Passing through. You got money to be here?
We do have money.
Yes. Yes, we do. As you know me, my money
His neck
is
just kind of
good.
leans down as if he's implying, prove it.
Doesn't have to be this way. You know, usually when we come here, I offer other goods and services. You sick or anything? I have many means of healing if could be done.
Snock will speak up, the boar folk with a slightly larger group around him, and he's just kind of relaxing. He throws the potato at one of them, and they catch it. I think he's talking more about the entry fee for newcomers who haven't been here before.
Oh, come on. Can't you loop them in with me since I've come here plenty of times now? You know us, we like to come here, get a shipment of shale and head back to the village.
Terrence is going to reach into a pouch and flick 2 gold pieces, one at each of them. And
Okay.
I want to make it like incredibly accurate, like it's coming straight at them while Terrence says, something along the lines of, good thing we got here just before the storm kicked in, but in Thieves' Cant, I'm saying I'm good for my money.
Okay. Yeah, you flick both of them really, really professionally. One of them catches it, and it bounces off the other's nose, and he looks visibly frustrated. But the one that did catch it, he eyes you very knowingly, and he just nods, and he looks over at Grok, and he also nods. And their demeanor kind of shifts to much more not paying you any mind at all.
Cool. All right.
Have
Let's
fun.
go.
Do you guys enter down this very wide caravan route? There's a few gondolas lined upon the edges for people who aren't carrying a bunch of goods to enter major or larger parts of this settlement on the other side of the ravine. Are you guys going to take any of those, or are you going straight down to the slurry fields?
We should
Guys-
probably. I'm sorry. You've been to this town before. Where should we go?
So obviously, do not drink that. As I point to the liquid that the kind of sludgy, murky liquid that the gondolas are floating in.
It's not hot enough to be slag, but you do see what looks like amidst the mud. There's strange flakes of metal that are clearly reflective as this slurry moves forward. It looks like this would be a gold miner's like heyday, if gold mattered in this settlement at all.
It's like, yes, but anyways, so what I recommend is, what are the slurry fields again? I'm blanking on that.
It's essentially just rivers of like stone and metal and mud that run through the area. It's I misinterpreted gondola when we started playing, so I'm saying that there's a bit of each kind. So at the base of this ravine, there's completely undrinkable, completely tainted, like mercurized water that people are able to travel through like a river.
Okay.
And those are at the very base of this area, of the crack.
Okay. And what's on the other side of this sludge-like river?
It's people come from both sides of the settlement, so it seems like either side is pretty even. It's just the upper areas on either side have gondolas going kind of downward, sort of like a
Gotcha.
spider's web. So it's a mesh of like these are the elevators to the mall over there, the mall over there.
Gotcha.
Wait. Okay, there we go.
So,
we were wanting. If we're wanting to go get supplied and everything, we should go take a gondola and head to the actual town. Hopefully, find us a place to rest our heads and get some shade and get some proper nutrients in us. But
sounds fine to me.
okay, I don't know. You all right there?
This is a Blackwater town, right?
The water is quite literally black. Yes.
Do I know what Eleanor's talking about?
I imagine during your travels, especially since the conversation that you had in that airship, you know what Blackwater is. It's a knockoff of Zark, where they collect water illegally and then sell it for a completely gouged price to other settlements. And this is, as you found in the papers on that ship, that this is one of the towns that is relatively under Blackwater's thumb. You know that they were definitely waiting on the shipment that you guys crashed into the sand.
And would I know this?
I'm going to say no. Since
That's fair.
you're kind of like you're a monk, right?
Yeah, basically.
That's not something that you'd ask for or be interested in. So this is all complete news to you.
I want to be sure I had a feeling, so I literally meant it when I said, the water's black here, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Eldridge.
I'll lean in towards Eleanor. I do believe this is a Blackwater town, but perhaps we should keep your identity a secret for now.
I'm just thirsty and hungry as all holy hell, and just want to get something.
When you say thirsty, there's another like a person that looks like a very large, borderline like an ox. He's walking by. It looks like he has about 6 people tailing him, like he's a whale in the ocean with a bunch of fish following him. And he scoffs at you saying that you're thirsty, and the people behind him kind of chatter and snicker at that statement.
What?
Everyone here is thirsty. You gotta earn your. It's not easy to get the stuff because it's either expensive or you have to prove yourself in the pit fights. See, that's something we do. We take new trainees in the order, some of the temple guards, and have them fight to gain us some resources when we're here. So that is an option, but I don't know how much currency y'all have.
Leeway do you have with your family, Eleanor?
It's a little rocky, but information takes a while to spread nowadays.
Good standing, bad standing? Should we keep our heads low?
She just starts walking forward.
Heads low. Got it.
You guys are heading to a gondola to try and find a place to rest?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you walk up to the slurry fields, these rivers of just mud, and eventually someone comes up. They look kind of like a kobold. It's a very small saurian, and they are rowing what looks kind of like a bowl made of straw, like collected from the desert. Just these reeds that have been meshed together, sort of like a big basket. And they stick an oar into the sludge, and their little bowl kind of slams against the edge that you guys are standing at. You need a ride.
Yes, please.
What's your currency?
Squirrel.
You're out of squirrel completely. You guys are like borderline starved and extremely dehydrated.
I will remove the scrolls from my inventory.
Yeah, no, you definitely finished all your rations on the way here.
Fair.
Maybe a bit of bird meat left.
Yeah, this could sell for a lot, and I just throw them my thieves' tools.
Whoa!
Okay. Yeah, the little Saurian grabs it and like opens the leather pouch that has a bunch of intricate tools and looks up at you very wide-eyed and like immediately throws it under a piece of fabric and like pats it, and they fold out like another piece of fabric and put it on like a 2x4 that's sitting inside this bowl to make it slightly comfier for you, and gestures for you to sit.
So I like hop in, I just go, "What's your name?"
Skasek.
Skasek, you work for me now. Keep doing stuff like this. Private ride. And I'll keep stuff coming to you.
Understood. Where you going?
Light?
Ah, yes. Take us to... What kind of place do we want to go to? You want to go to a higher end place, or you want to go to a traveler's place?
Somewhere discreet. Doesn't get a lot of attention.
Okay. Take us to the bay then. And
Alright,
I
to the
imagine I imagine the bay is like just basically a small little local dive.
I'll say, yeah, it's sort of at the end of this ravine, and there's kind of like a sinkhole where the slurry slowly, or the water drains from the slurry, so the center of it is an unstable, ever-shifting island. But you eventually go there. It takes maybe an hour of just him rowing through this sludge. You guys gonna do anything while you go, just looking at the people passing by?
I kind of roughly describes like the bay's a place we'd go every now and then, since generally we had our own guard detail while we were there. We didn't have to worry about dealing with the ruffians, and well, we didn't really care for the too lavish lifestyle. Though I must warn you, there's a good bit of shills there. You have to be careful about them. Oh, you probably don't know what shills are. They're called Shale. There's a drug around here that's quite popular called Shales, and those who get a little too far gone on the trip, we call shills.
Got it. So they do shale down here in the crack.
Yes, and some don't know when to come back down to earth, you can say.
More like a shale slurry. And he taps another piece of fabric and lifts it up, and you see what looks like a couple potion bottles, one of them empty, one of them half empty. It kind of looks like a more refined, intentionally mixed version of the sludge that he's rowing through.
Yes, that. No, sometimes in some of our priestly rituals, we will take them, and I have partaken in it a time or two myself, but I do not need to use it solely to do my duties as a priest.
What is it too?
Essentially, it gives you a better glimpse at what you saw when the mist cleared.
It
What do you
kind
mean
of
by
just
that?
teaches you what you want to know about yourself and about your place in the universe.
Like
heard some people say-
hallucinogenic or
Yes,
Augmentative.
a high.
Some people think
okay.
it's a hallucinogen because they aren't used to seeing things that they see when they take it.
Augmented.
Some monks will claim it's the only way to truly go on a spiritual journey is to take it before they enter a deep meditative state.
Like you
And
see
then
that
there's-
over there, and he gestures to a literally blank wall.
Yes.
Shit like that people don't normally see.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
Blank-
are. He keeps rowing.
I just look back at the blank wall.
I don't see anything, do I?
No. Are
Okay.
you
I just-
currently on Shale?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I just kind of wave it off to just like.
And there, everyone roll perception or investigation. If it's taking close to an hour to roll through here, so as you're looking pretty much out the window of a car, what kind of vibe do you get? Let's
Nat
see how
20 for a
attentive you guys are.
22.
Fuck. Yeah. All right. Again, and that
Dirty
20 is
20
better
for
than-
me.
Dirty 20, okay.
19 for a dirty 26.
Okay.
Dadgum, 26. That's awesome.
Can you shift your name over to Terrence, just so I don't get confused?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of you guys surprisingly really pick up on what feels like the underground of this massive settlement. You see a lot of people who are kind of out of it. There's the majority, especially. So I'd say if you can get a gauge on the hierarchy, first of all, there are massive people who look extremely just genetically built, or like they've worked on their bodies. You see people with, and like they carry themselves with power and authority, and some of them are just openly brandishing weapons. And behind them are people who look like they can't carry themselves in any fight. And it's literally like an inverse of, you see a celebrity with a bunch of bodyguards around them. It's like the bodyguard has a bunch of nobodies around them. And some of the people like surrounding these people are carrying what looks like genuine water pouches, or like small amounts of food or tapestries that they're like actively creating. So you have what seems to be like a displayed form of hierarchy here, where the larger people are more respected and more followed by lesser people who maybe can't get access to stuff that these people can. So it's a weird system that you're kind of putting together as you're going through the streets. And outside of this weird, obviously displayed hierarchy, you see people who are just walking as if they're not even themselves. Almost like undead, but at certain points they stop, reassess themselves, and then continue. People completely in just a genuine daze outside of themselves. Those are the two major groups that you see. You also see the occasional someone who's in like hyper alert. Definitely someone who speaks thieves' cant more often than they speak common. Just standing in some darker areas of the ravines. And this is just before you guys get to the bay. Is that what you called it?
The bay.
The bay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of leaning over to Eleanor and Terrence and say, basically, the big shots in this town are all people that have earned a title in the arena. It's very few people that just have a title here because it was given to them. Most of them have earned it.
Got it.
Some of the most dangerous people in this town are just dangerous by themselves. It's not even the influence they have. You got to be careful about that. But if you do really good in the arena, you can for yourself here.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna make something real quick, and she's gonna take her hat and just kind of cover herself real quick. I'm just gonna use magical tinkering to just make like just a few handfuls of rocks that strobe.
Okay, I'll say, yeah, because I think it'd be more interesting if you had to gather materials for your spells. So as you're doing that, you're kind of just very cautiously, do you have any gloves or something?
Yeah, she has big gloves.
Yeah, okay. So either you're using gloves or tools to kind of fetch the larger stones that are sifting on the slurry. It seems like they're made of a lighter or more porous material. Maybe they're volcanic. But you grab a few of them out of there and you accomplish that.
And just like hide them in a glove and then just sit back up normal like nothing happened.
You've made luminous stones?
Basically just just rocks that light up.
Okay. How many do you make?
4, because I can do 4 items with magical tinkering.
Okay. And yeah, you guys arrive at the bay. I'll have everyone add a detail, and if anyone is actively watching this, feel free to add another detail to this if you heard the description. But we'll start just from my perspective with Tabby.
I think start with just like general building shape of just kind of like slightly lopsided, like square, like rectangle rooms stacked on top of each other.
Okay, I get like a Jack 2 feel from that, like the Jack and Daxter buildings. Okay. Chuck?
Okay. So I'm imagining there's like this porch we're coming up to that has a little a dock area for the gondolas to attach to it, and people just get off easy. Like,
Okay, so
nearly
yes.
like this place has a quick escape route for people to get in and out.
Okay. So yeah, around the bay, there's a lot of individual docks and porches that you can just drop off at pretty much any of the major venues that are slurry side, not quite ocean side. And Rye.
The bay is on a bit of a boardwalk that actually dips out into the slurries a bit, and the bay itself sits on a very large crescent, like sandbank that opens up into a wider part of the slurries, and the bay sits out in the slurries just a bit, and it looks like there's one or two almost refinery style pumps on each side of the building.
Okay, so the bay is not fully circular. The area that it comes from is just like the large ravine river, and then it enters the area, and around this is like all the buildings, and then at the base near the river that you guys are entering, there's two refineries.
Yeah, it's connected. Well, they're almost like part of the restaurant, is what I'm saying. As if they're using the slurries themselves for some sort of process that happens within the restaurant. Whether burning
the bay is definitely a collection of areas. It's kind of like a back alley marketplace, or like a farmer's market that's always going.
Okay, I thought the bay was a singular building. I got that messed up.
I think it's just an area. So
okay.
Yeah, there are two
I
refineries.
kind of imagined it being both, like it's a street mainly that just is off this.
So maybe all the minor business. It's like a mall. So like you go to the mall, it's still a bunch of businesses, but it's itself.
Okay, I will amend that slightly to say that a lot of the bay is taking part on a bit like more stable boardwalks. Like some of these buildings are set on solid structures, and some of the buildings are connected to almost like service pumps that are in the building. Sorry, service pumps that are in.
Yeah, so people have to do regular ventures to collect savanna tree wood and like palm wood and stuff. So it seems like this was a large and long, strenuous effort to have made this area called the Bay. But Skasak eventually kind of slams the bull boat up against the area that you guys, I imagine, gestured to be dropped off at. And he just kind of nods to the collection of you. This is your spot.
Right. Gonna have to puff myself up as much as I can. This is shriveled little buddy.
You want any suggestions for what to do, where to go, what to see?
Yes, actually. Where is a good place to make a bit of coin?
And he drinks what looks like brighter colored river sludge. What did you ask him?
Where is a good place to make a bit of coin?
Well, if it's influence or goods that you're looking for, you definitely want to go to the arena if you can handle yourself. If not, you better go please a benefactor. There's a few places you can do that, mostly eateries, conversation halls. Just find a way to build your influence if you're strong or if you're good at talking. But otherwise, gold's not the best thing here.
I see. Thank you.
And he kind of gives you general directions for like those main facilities, so you know where they are in relation to the bay.
Real quick, a good place to rest our heads for maybe a few days.
He gestures to a building about 3 buildings over from the one that he's dropping you off at. That one's pretty easy on newcomers.
Hope to hear from you more soon.
If I see you in the bay, I'm your guy. And he pushes off, and then much more frantically than he was like leading you guys here, it looks like he's going to somewhere he wants to be.
Okay.
Listen, but
Actually,
yeah,
if anyone wants to make an insight check.
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay.
That'll be, where's he off to in a hurry?
Mhm.
That's a 17 for me.
Okay, you kind of got a rough personality read on him, just judging by the people in the streets and the people that are kind of like going about either their business or just not doing anything. It seems like he's a very lax character, so he would want to not do anything. And you could imagine that in a place like this, the materials and craftsmanship that it takes to make a thieves' kit are very rare, and he's probably going to go and get more of those bottles.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, before he had pushed off, if at all possible, I wanted to lean over to him and ask him how much for a bottle.
He'd probably just look at you weird. Do you want to make a persuasion check?
I would reveal the glint of a handful of gold coins, and that's what I would do. Yeah.
How many?
I'll make it 5.
Okay. He looks at him kind of weird, and he looks up at you with a very questioning face.
That's a 4 on the die.
I got a 2 on the die. So to the other two of you, they look like this is the most obvious drug transaction in the world. where Terrence comes up and like holds out very obvious coins, like almost drops one into the sludge and holds it out. And Skasak is like really gauging whether or not this is worth it for just some gold coins. And like even fumbles much harder with the cloth, where he like almost drops it out of his little boat. And he will give you 1 and take all 5 of the gold coins.
Okay.
The full one.
Okay. I like to imagine we're trying to use like sly euphemisms, which is like, I see you have the drugs. I would like
it's
to buy
so,
one.
So like you intermittently try and use a thieves' cant, and he doesn't speak thieves' cant. So like the shit you say is super awkward and weird, where you're like, hey, sparkle swirl ping pong cheese, and he's like, fuck.
The cabbage is in the basket.
No, Skasak is in his basket. But yeah, eventually you guys just figure it out, and he'll pay. He'll make that transaction, and then he leaves with the same fervor as described before.
Cool.
I assume I turn to everyone and say, a place he set a few doors down. I believe he's talking about the Bedrock. It's a place I stayed at whenever I was here.
Okay.
Let's go sleep. I'm fucking tired and hungry.
That sounds lovely. Absolutely lovely.
So you guys enter the Bedrock. It's what kind of a location is it that you remember, and how long ago were you here?
I'm going to say for me, it was I'd probably say at least maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Because I imagine it wouldn't be too recent for me, and what I imagine he would remember of it is basically since he had his he was traveling with a decent sized group of priests, he wasn't too worried about it, and they just want a simple place to rest since they didn't really need anything too fancy, and they just wanted a place to.
Yeah, they gave you very humble accommodations a year ago, and you basically, in this condition, you more or less like called ahead, so they had made room for you. When you enter, it is a much more popular location than you remember, and a little less professional. Tabby, I'll let you add some detriments to this place that have gone over the year that Lud hasn't been here.
Just the sign, like above the front door, has now fallen to cover half of the pathway, and people are just kind of going in and out underneath it. Like no one's bothering to fix it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
And like there's some people like wicked out on either side of the door.
Yeah, okay. Just slurred out. They're not even slurring their speeches, they're slurring their lives. And Rye, give me one more. When you guys walk in, what's wrong?
What's
the
wrong with this
tension
place?
here? Yeah.
There is quite obviously a thugging happened just like in the main foyer in the corner. Like some people are like gathered around and just like stripping somebody of their belongings, and everybody's just kind of minding their own business as this happens in the corner.
Okay, so yeah, as you guys walk in, everyone roll me. I'd say that's relatively obvious. So roll me investigation to see if you can conclude what's happening and why. Like you're a cop actively watching a crime.
Huh.
Got a 4, so I am oblivious.
I got a 3 for a 9.
This is investigation.
Yeah.
11.
Okay. It's really hard to tell because you just kind of walk in here. It seems like you're at the end of this interrogation, but there is a much larger. Someone give me a strong animal, a lot of muscle mass. Fucking koala.
Badger.
Okay.
Badger.
That's Jesus Christ. Yeah. So there's a large badger with like 8 people around him. And it seems like all of them are just kind of sheepishly like looking away as this transaction happens. You guys enter at the end of the transaction. The badger clearly has a full like ring of slurry tied together on the same rope. Or I think it's just called not slurry. What is it specifically?
Shale.
Yeah,
Shale.
shale shakes, pretty much.
Oh boy.
And there's someone who looks incredibly weak. Let's say it is a
Goat.
okay, yeah,
Goat man.
a smaller goat beast folk, and they're just like terrified. They look incredibly disheveled, disappointed, and just downtrodden. And as this transaction ends, I need to write these down. Actually, I'm sorry. Goat versus badger. the badger folk finally strips them of like the last important thing that they have outside of, let's say, they have glasses on, and they walk over to a table across the room and sit down, and their group just kind of sheepishly follows them, regains their demeanor, and that ends as you guys are kind of standing in the main hallway.
My gosh, this place is not what I remember.
I love
It
it.
was just averagely bad, not the bad. Yeah. No.
Let's go find a front desk.
Yes, let's.
You walk to the center of the room, and then around the corner you see what looks like a service desk, and there is a female dog folk who looks reasonably strong and surprisingly tall compared to the majority of the people here. And she gives you a nod and gestures that you come over.
Walk
You
on
look
over.
very new here.
I've been here before.
We know, Light.
I don't recognize you. Have you come here often?
Yes, I was just here a year ago.
So 7 years ago.
What?
And she gives you a really sly look. She's a dog folk. She's trying to
Oh,
make a
that's
joke.
so funny. A room for all of us, please.
Okay. What do you have in trade? And how long are you staying?
A week. Put a mace on the counter.
What kind of make is the base?
Probably just like decently well made. This is like her mace that she used for a while.
Roll me persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Take a +2 on top of that. It's a good quality base. Oh, excuse me.
Persuasion -1. 17 for
Nice.
18.
All right, yeah, okay. She looks it over, is impressed by the craftsmanship. That'll get you about 4 days for 2. There's 3 of you. I can give you a 2-person room for 4 days, but one of you's gonna have to sleep on the ground.
That's fine.
All right. Anything else you need? Any drinks? And then, like,
Yes.
as a very brief shift, everyone make a perception check. Just beat a 10.
Oh, sick. 18.
22. I'm rolling like crazy.
Damn, yeah.
25.
Okay, yeah. You can immediately tell that it's like, hey, we also sell drugs here. So it's just immediately communicated to you, especially you, Terrence, who speaks Thieves' Cant. She kind of offhandedly says something really weird to the other two of you and then reiterates in common, like, hey, on top of that, do you need any shale shakes? Or anything that we have to offer on top of that?
I'm fine at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Enjoy your stay. If you need any food or drinks, we have them.
Can we have those now? I have these, and she'll take out the 4 glowing rocks and just put them on the counter.
Make a
I
deception
knew that
check.
was coming.
Deception.
Beat a 9. I'm rolling like shit. Google's just being mean to me.
Well, I got a hot 6.
I think
So,
that's the total?
yep.
Whoo! Google's giving me a 227. So yeah, you put down some magic rocks, and she just kind of looks them over. That pulls out a strange-looking magic item that looks like a small man yawning, and she holds it over the items, and they stop glowing. And she puts it back under the desk. I'm sorry, we don't accept nothing here.
I'll just grab the rocks and put them in my bag. Your turn, Terrence.
Tough. Oh boy. I'm going to
I
offer.
should write that down. That's a good idea for a magic item. Like a identify sensor that doesn't cancel out the magic.
What are we purchasing here?
Food.
I think food and
Food.
drink. You guys are very downtrodden. You're like you had a meal yesterday. You have not had water in 2 days, at least.
I'd like to pull out dagger and set it on the counter. It's like, will this do?
What'd you pull out?
Dagger.
You realize you're disarming yourselves, right? And she puts it in a little slit on like her belt, and pulls out a single water skin.
It's like, oh, am I? And I just grabbed the water skin a little too happily.
You're really gonna make me do this, huh?
Hang on, no,
My
you
last
get-
weapon.
As she grabs a key and slides it across the table. Anything else?
Crossbow, 20 bolts. That's still all I got. That's all I
If
got.
that's your choice. And she puts down 2 more water skins and a 4th one, except she empties it half out.
That'll do.
Make sure you guys are keeping these rations. I'm not going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
That was a water skin lasts for 1 day.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you have half a water skin, you guys can make, I think, a Constitution check at advantage.
Okay.
Thirst is going to be it's meant to be a major factor in this setting. We're trying to play into that.
I am going. Oh, I want to hand something over stealthily.
Make a sleight of hand check and tell me what it is.
It's an 8.
Okay. What are you handing over?
Scroll of Misty Step.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah, so you pull it out of your pocket, and just as you're about to hand it to her, like put it on the table and slide it like under your arm, like kind of like you're trying to like lean forward, like you're doing it really coy, except right as you're pulling it out of the bag, the nub at the end of the scroll gets caught in your bag, and you pull it out, and it falls on the floor and kind of unravels. A couple people look up, especially including this badger folk.
I just put it away.
Okay, you pick it
just-
up, you roll it back
yeah,
up, and yeah, you
pick
kind
it
of
up.
embarrassedly put it away.
Yeah.
The dog folk. just
Pat
kinda looks
myself
at you weird.
down. I put down my 2 switchblade daggers.
What do you want? More water for that?
Please.
I don't think I can give you more water.
You don't have more water?
We do, but we need to ration it. We're waiting on a shipment. Like, it should be here in a couple of days. Maybe 3, but if you stick around long enough, I'd be able to pay you maybe 2 for that.
Doctor, we can search around the market later if we truly need anything. Do not worry. This isn't the only spot we can buy things.
I'll take my daggers back. And then I'll pause. And then I'll look at them with one of my daggers still on the table and say, I did hear your offer earlier about slushies, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like a watermelon slushie, please. I'm asking for a bottle of Shale.
Yeah. She takes one of the daggers and gives you a slightly smaller portion than you have.
Cool.
It has the same effect for a D&D, like, stat sake, but it is...
Okay.
Yeah.
Eleanor's just gonna be like, awesome. Take the key and like grab one of the water skins and just kind of hold it in her mouth and just like toss it back and start walking towards the room.
Okay. Yeah, you immediately head deeper into the wall of this ravine. Let's say that's kind of how this facility is built. It's just a long, borderline like a Minecraft like cave where you just build a long thing and then you start looping back and forth through it. It's a single long dive that has a bunch of like small igloo-sized rooms on either side. And there is a single room with, let's say, just a large queen-sized bed and a small area on the side, and of course a nightstand and a foot chest.
Wonderful. I faint in the bed immediately
Okay.
because I have level 3 exhaustion.
So you guys are kind of like slowly, sheepishly, very exhaustively following Eleanor. You enter the room, and before you turn the corner, maybe 5 steps behind, you see a sleeping corpse. It's completely gone. Yeah.
Absolutely off that member.
Empty like water skin in her mouth still.
Hey. I
Slowly, like an IV. Just dripping.
So real quick, I was wanting to do this before we left the lobby, but as soon as I see them pass out, I say, I'm gonna run back to the lobby real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Terrence, what do you do in the meantime? Just so we can cut to Lud.
Once I get to the room, I'm gonna get cozy in a corner and I'm gonna pull out one of the Shale bottles, and I'm just gonna start like sniffing it, tasting it, trying to get an idea of how they made this concoction and what its properties are.
Okay. Yeah. I'll visit that for a minute. I'll roll Arcana
Arcana.
or whatever seems to fit for you, because this is a weird augmentative substance. Nature, investigation, whatever feels comfortable or right for your character.
I'll do nature.
Okay. Also, it's been a week. I am healing, but it's still there.
I'm glad you're healing.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Tune in for last episode for Logan's hand fucking exploding.
It did do that.
It do be that way.
It's been like that sometimes.
Right now, shit. D&D Beyond's taking its time. What was my bonus? 10. 10 total.
Okay, I'd say smelling it, you get a very strong, like, bitter reaction. It feels kind of like it stings your nose, like it's something that's going to affect you heavily. You can at least conclude that it's some kind of poison, at least akin to alcohol, if not something slightly worse. Like, it puts your body in some sort of stupor.
Bottoms up,
Or
and I'll
at
drink
least
half
it's
a bottle.
not good for you. Yeah, so you chug that, and in the same room as someone's just zoinked next to you, and we cut to our good friend Light Upon Dunes. You go back to the lobby.
Before I do, I'd like to take a swig of the water skin and set it down, and I'd like to just kind of set my pack in there and just
Okay. Yeah, you hotel room prep. You just kind of like refresh yourself and get everything set aside. So you're in as comfortable a state as you can be as you return to the lobby.
I was wanting to head back and actually check on the goat guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a new group of people have walked in. It looks like they might be regulars. They look very comfortable here. Let's say there's like 4 to 6 people. They sit at another desk, and with them, this badger person seems preoccupied. So you go over to the goat guy, who just looks really, really downtrodden, like not good.
Okay. I lean down to them and say, "Howdy, friend. You found yourself in a peculiar situation, I see. Are you okay?"
And he drinks like a small amount of water that he has on the table. No, I'm not okay.
What happened between you and that fellow over there?
He looks over at the badger to make sure that they're not like literally badgering him, and they seem preoccupied. So he looks back at you and like very, very much more hushed than before. Says, I know how to mix slurry, and I brought some to sell, and he just took it. He said I'm not allowed to make any more, so I don't know what to do. I don't know why I did this. And he like kind of puts his head in his hands and just looks very like beaten.
You know how to make shell, huh? I see. Is he some local ruffian trying to take all the stock away?
You wouldn't exactly call him a ruffian. He's one of the nobles. He can kind of do what he wants. I mean, look at him. And he gestures over. And like, there's a big fucking badger. There's not a lot of people that can stop him.
Yes, quite. I see that.
I made a gamble. I thought that, maybe I could make a little extra money here. So I put an extra money into making it, and well, there it is. And the goat just gestures over to the literal strand of slurry that the badger has on their shoulder, on their like hip.
Well, the authorities can't do much about it if he's a noble. That is quite unfortunate.
Guess I'll just go back to my job.
Oh, what's your job?
Just mining, standard mining, basic resources and materials, looking for any pockets of water, underground lakes that those things might have left behind way back when. 2 generations ago we found one, but that's about it. It's not like much.
Really?
It pays. It works. I thought I could have a little more.
Quite interesting. Life is truly a gamble. It is every day we set out and live.
Nothing truer. And he reaches over to what looks like a larger glass of definitely like a not milky but like tainted glass of something gross, and swigs it back with clear discomfort, places it back on the table, and just. And what are you doing here?
Gambling myself.
Hope you have better luck than me.
Luck has never been on my side, but I'm still alive.
That's not exactly something you admit in a place like this. The crack is not kind to people without luck,
Well, who knows? I'm thinking my luck's gonna change soon. Anyways.
To that. And he'll like finish what little water he had left in what looks like a smaller glass than that nasty liquid, and he pours half of it into that glass and tosses it over to you. To luck.
I clink the glass with him and take a swig of it.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh.
My favorite thing to say after someone takes a drink.
That's a 15.
Okay. It's really hard to keep down since you're not a local here, it's basically like drinking like a Boilermaker, which is like a shot of whiskey tossed into beer and then mixed with like sand. So it is, it's strong, but it is filthy. And you manage to choke back the majority of the drink that it gives you. And just kind of nods, like coughs up a little bit, like takes sand off his lips.
You had no reason to give me this, but you did.
No reason not to.
Let me pay you a favor back in kind, then. Would you like to come meet my friends? Well, associates.
Demeanor kind of gets on the defensive again because you're definitely stronger than this goat person. If they weren't goat, they would definitely be sheep because he's very sheepish. Why?
I think your talent may be a little interesting to one of my friends if you'd like to go out and live another day. Or gamble, as we said. It was all a clever metaphor I was trying to slip under there.
Okay, this is a tide turning. Make a persuasion check. Beat a 14.
Come on, I'm a sorcerer.
Oh,
No.
Eleanor's asleep and Terrence is tripping.
I mean, our
Alright.
friends, corpse and almost corpse
Yeah.
in the corner.
Corpse and zombie.
Mhm.
I am going to use my divine favor ability for the first time,
Okay.
and I can add 2d4s and add it to any attack roll or saving throw, or I think skill check. I just least notice for that too.
Okay.
That is just what I needed. Okay, so I rolled a 9, but rolled the 6, so that makes it a 15.
Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing I do with all the other characters and switch the first letters of his name. His name is Walter White. No.
Yeah.
Let's put together a name for this character, and then we'll go on a quick break, and then we'll explore this weird story that we've gotten ourselves into.
Mhm.
I can't quite think of anything. He is clearly the goat.
Goat.
I
Clearly
can put
goated.
something together off stream if you guys don't want to just come up with a name. It's a bit tough.
Gamlin.
What?
Gamlin.
Gambling.
Gamlin?
It was your uncle that was absolutely terrible in Dragon Age 2.
I'm lost, but I do like that you are basically making him gamble his life right now, so gambling makes sense. We'll go with
Yeah.
that. We'll be back in 10, 15 minutes, probably. Until then, hopefully this transition works. Thank you for watching, you crazy people. Thank you for all the follows that range from 7 days ago to 40 minutes ago. Thank you,
Should
Eldritch.
absolutely be
Intoxicated
named
Ood.
Walter White. I think of you.
I would have been down calling him Walter White, honestly.
Do we want to go with Walter Gamlin or Gamlin White?
Gamlin White.
Gamlin
Gamlin White.
Okay,
I like it.
cool. We have our soon-to-be drug lord's name that
Gamlin
you
White.
guys just might make. Yeah, so we will cut back to Terrence tripping on sludge and the introduction of a new temporary NPC.
All
Goodbye,
right.
friends.
It seemed like we're leaving.
We're back. Hello, friends. We've returned to entertain you.
Hello,
Dance,
I
Robbie,
am
dance!
Entertainment Man.
Yeah, we've all gone potty and talked about old religious movies and cartoons that we want to rewatch real soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back to our good friend Dr. Terrence for the first time enjoying what we would imagine is a psychedelic. So, did you take the entire bottle of slurry?
I started with half.
Okay. And what did you pay for this?
I paid it
It was
5 gold.
Okay.
5 gold,
This
yeah.
is probably pretty heavy acting then, because he had a bottle that was half empty and he seemed to be vibing. So yeah, you crack open a bottle of slurry, you throw it back, and then just lay down.
Uh,
Because there is a
yeah, I think
bed
so.
that has an unconscious Eleanor in half of it. This room only has a queen.
Okay. Yeah. Could you possibly go over who your characters are just briefly? Um,
Oh yeah.
I
So let's start with Eleanor. Describe your character and your background in the world. Sorry, just going down the stream queue.
sure.
Eleanor is a court beast folk, or a small like brown rabbit who's wearing like kind of scarlet colored clothes.
So,
That's way too fancy.
yeah, a bit more specific. In this world that we built on the Tall Tales YouTube channel that we just put together just completely on the fly, we made up our own races and versions of these races. So you are a subclass of the beast folk, and specifically a court beast folk. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's court beast folk, or the small ones. And then she is from a like illegal black market family for water, so it's the Blackwater families. And her sister took over and exiled her, and that's why she's kind of looking for mountains now. But now we're stuck in a drug den.
Yeah, just a quick sliver of that. The lore is that a long time ago, the mountains disappeared and they took all the water with them because, as we explained it in the lore, the water is the blood of the mountains. So when they came back, so did their blood, and everyone got real thirsty, and that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with now. But your family is, yeah, a part of people who collect and distribute the water outside of legal facilities, and you gouge it like crazy.
I am Dr. Terrence Aguila. I am a Saurian. I am an avian Saurian, so I'm like a flying dinosaur type homebrew of humanoids. The Saurians are all these, they've ranged from avian to land variants. And my character, Dr. Terrence, is a practice doctor with a very shady background, mostly in the tech side of the world, where much of the world is the world's vehicles, to accommodate and adapt to the harsher environments that don't really allow for land travel. Um, Terrence is a part of more or less a group of shared knowledge on the construction of flying machines, and has used that to go about research and complete other uh, selfish tasks.
And why are you hunting for mountains specifically?
Hunting for mountains, partially to study them, but partially also because Terrence knows, because of the divide between technology and faith based like powers and magic and stuff. Terrence knows that this great researcher Vasak, who Terrence looked up to, used a magical beast to power their old vessel. Vasak used a Hell Dweller to power their vessel, and Terrence knows that. So Terrence is going to try and find out more about the Hell Dwellers based on his research and um, his study of Vasak's work. So
Okay.
he's along for the ride because he's researching Hell
Yeah.
Dwellers.
So you're just doing general adventure research and light upon dunes. I'll describe Mario's character.
I am Light Upon Dunes, the one with the least sketchy background. So Light Upon Dunes is a traveling reflavored tabaxi beast folk who is just a traveling priest that got caught up in all of this, and for a not fully unknown reasons is traveling with the adventurers to try and help find more water. So, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. You found
He's
these guys in the middle of nowhere. Were you a part of the squirrel raid? I forget how we introduce your character.
Yeah, I was my adventuring group was the notorious ORK, and
That's right, the notorious ORC. Yeah, you guys got captured by the same bandit group, and you were a part of the second wave of the attack. And you guys managed to bring the ship down, but everyone but you died, as well as this past group. And then Mario's character is a part of the goblinoid variant of races that we have in this game that are kind of oppositical to the Saurians or the lizard people. Whereas the Saurians are very mechanical, they work with machines and physics. The goblinoids work on faith. And instead of goblins, we have gobs, hobgobs, and I think bugbears. I forget what we called them, but he is a hobgob who's kind of just traveling for his own righteousness, if I remember correctly. He's just out here.
As he described, me and him, a spirit duo.
Yeah.
And I'm also the de facto guide to the group.
Currently, yeah, because you're familiar with the surrounding that they have found themselves lost in. But cutting all the way back to the actual story, I think Terrence is still getting zooted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Zooted.
what are you doing in the room? I forgot.
Terrence at this point is just kind of like, I guess Terrence is lying down, and Terrence just has one of their daggers, and they're just like flicking the blade out and bringing it back in, flicking it out, bringing it back in, flicking it out, bringing it back in, just like waiting for the high to kick in.
And as you're doing that, there's an immediate like rush where everything around you changes. You feel suddenly completely disconnected with your body as these elements and these pheromones immediately join with your brain and your body. You feel as though you slowly become your surroundings. You feel as though you yourself are not a part of the scene. The scene is a part of you, including the presence that is Terrence. And you feel almost all of your senses are honed in on flicking out and pulling back this knife, as you feel like that action that you're performing is everything that you are. And as you contemplate on that, you start to think like, oh, if the moments I'm in are everything, then I could just be everything. And you have a complete ego death. You feel as though you're removed from yourself, whereas yourself is everything. And everything is just you, including Eleanor sitting on that bed, including the knife, including the room, including the entire area, the bay. And you feel connected to everything in a sensation that is almost equally horrifying and humbling. And it takes a while, like 20 minutes for this full rush to start and stop. We'll say that it doesn't take forever, but that's what you feel.
Okay. All right. I'm going to chug the rest of the bottle and just ride this high for a while, and I'm just going to start like,
yeah, so
I guess in a way getting comfortable with myself, just like kind of I imagine Terrence would kind of do a thing where they like are quietly like talking to themselves, like working through their thought process and stuff,
audibly
flicking their knife out and stuff. Like, if the knife is there, I could just. But it's also
It's like you feel like the permanence of your actions suddenly fizzles away, and you're like, I could just, it'd be easy.
Yeah.
But you feel no urge. On top of that, let's say with Terrence's unique perspective, what is one thing that Terrence gleans from this about the world or the setting or their place in it? I'll add that to the game.
Something I gleam?
Yeah, just what does Terrence conclude, however like psyched out it is?
that everything in life is just a means to survive, whether it be technology or magic.
Okay.
It's all tools.
Yeah, you fall pretty heavily on that lizard brain, and you realize that magic and science are not that different.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's where I fall.
Cutting back to the front of the lobby, you are bringing back this goat person to the room.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So this is about, let's say, 20, 25 minutes in. So right as you're coming back, you're the first one to open the door, and you see Terrence finishing the bottle. Like after you guys have, had like maybe a round and a half of that weird, sandy, nasty drink, and you come back and you see Terrence just like kind of splayed out, just flicking a knife, like very, very passively. Like that's the only thing that his brain looks like he's able to do.
I just entered a room with the same attack that Light has had for every single moment. Guess what, guys? I got a plan for us. And
What's your plan? Tell me your plan.
Gamlin
you
steps
in this.
into the room and just kind of like looks at the situation. Continue.
I shut the door gently behind us and it's like, I apologize, Gamlin White.
Get that knife away from him, please.
Oh, you can trust him with knives. I've seen him
please,
stab
right
many
now.
a folk
Get that
before.
knife away from him, please.
Does the knife bother you? And I close the blade.
Well, he has had a rough time today, as you've seen, but I don't know, it is quite asleep. But he could be a good aspect to us.
You don't see that? And he looks up at you, Light Upon Dunes, and he's like gesturing to Terrence, and he says, "You don't see his pupils? They're dilated." And
Yes, I
he
I
has
am
he has goat eyes, so they look like infinity, like in the pupils. He's got a unique like line of sight, and he's like, hey, "Can you please?" He's looking.
There's something wrong.
He
This is my inebriation.
He like slowly approaches you and tries to take the knife. Do you feel like the knife is you right now, or are you okay with him taking it?
No, I don't need knives.
Okay.
I
just takes the knife and like puts it under the other bed.
Okay.
Okay.
I have no need for that. I pull out my other knife and I throw it across the floor. I have no need for that.
Okay.
One in case.
He's probably not the mood to talk business right now. You enjoy your little trip here, and
Oh, I'm past the trip. I am cognizant of my desires, who I am, and what I'm aiming for. What are you? Who is this?
I'm Gamlin. Gamlin White. I am able to manufacture the state that you're in right now. I don't really understand this person's plan or anything, but they said that we should be introduced. I am in a bad place right now, and I guess I could benefit from help, but I don't really know what you're offering.
Well, what was your idea, dudes?
So, as Light just kind of leans against the wall, stretching out, just like, what I am imagining is you and Eleanor have experience in this sort of thing. Me, I do not. I am just good at talking most of the time. Sometimes depends on if the stars are right or not. Anyways, but my idea is Eleanor being good at making things, him being good at making things, and you are street smart. Me, I am me. And Gareth, look at Gareth, and I just slapping Gareth on his big meaty arms.
Who's Gareth?
Was that not Mario's character?
Oh shoot, yeah. He's been here this whole time.
Yeah.
Has he been with us, or has he
Bareth.
been hanging out with the robot buddy?
I think it would probably be best if, I just because he hasn't really been a part of any of these situations. I'll take the blame for that. But yeah, Bareth would definitely be getting basic resources and then returning to the robot guy. Just maybe doesn't want to be here yet.
Gotcha.
We'll find out a reason later. Sorry.
All right. I was like, well, do we have Barrett's strength back wherever Barrett is? So, my idea is
You like show him
eventually
a picture of Bareth, and he's like, just like super buff. This guy's up there.
yeah, I just draw a very rough drawing of him with my claw into something and just like
Perfect.
boom. This is him. It's
Just
just
a triangle.
it's a stick
He's
It's
a
a
Dorito
stick-
man. He's perfect.
it's a stick figure with very huge unrealistically huge arms.
That's Spider-Man drawing. Okay,
yeah.
continue.
And it's like, my idea is it seems if we're going to go back into the desert, we need to get things here. And to get things here, we need influence. So I thought combining all resources together, some of our strengths, the drugs that run this town, things like that, we could possibly get a little
Substances. Materials.
the substances. The trip aids as I have been accustomed to. But we're all able to get some gold, able to reimburse Gamlin White here, so Gamlin doesn't have to go back into his mining gig. We might have something good going on here.
It seems that gold isn't necessarily the currency that all things are exchanging around here.
No,
It seems mostly services and items of importance or good use are more common currency.
In a general state, if I imagine none of you are familiar with this place very well. For people who stay here long, if you win gladiatorial fights, people start to follow you, and the amount of people that follow you determine what you can get, what you can't.
Everything
Interesting.
here is based on gladiatorial fights.
And you're
a lot of
following.
it, yes.
The reason that you probably got this room is because there are three of you. The one of you must have seemed to be the tougher of the three.
I know how to speak the language. Perhaps it was that.
Nice. Okay, definitely not me. Anyways, but
So,
regardless, my recommendation is we rest, let Eleanor get involved in this, and Eleanor with her very vague sketchy connections that y'all have not really explained to me, and all the other sketchy stuff we have been a part of. I'm sure
That's
we
not
have enough to
reassuring.
know. Oh, I met them all in the desert. It was quite a fun time.
That's okay. Still not reassuring.
Hey, though, these
so-
people can survive. We killed one of the road rocks.
Okay.
Gamlin,
He like
let
looks
me-
at you. You all look relatively beat up, but like he doesn't fucking believe that. There's no chance. Should I come back once she's awake? I don't understand the plan. What are you offering me exactly? And what do I?
We
need to
all work
do?
together and make some influence.
And how do you
Now,
plan to stand up against the current influence?
Simple. We get more than them.
we have nothing in this town right now. Where do we start? What's your game plan?
So,
Do you
Gamlin's our game plan? Is that what you're going for, Dunes?
do you have any way to win a fight
yes,
Oh, yes.
individually?
Yes.
that is my plan. Is
Okay.
we get souped up and ready to go into the gladiatorial fights. And once we get some influence, we use the connections in Gamlin to start distributing substance amongst the town. Once we do that, we pool all our resources,
I
cash
prefer
out the best we
term
can, and get on our way.
augmentative materials, but that's okay. So I should go back and get more materials. I could put them into water skins or something. I definitely have an empty amount of those. I could put them in different containers so people don't know that we have them. But
Oh, right. That could work.
can you guarantee that you can sell them? Because I don't want to spend that much time and then just have them get taken away again. Because it'll be a while.
How long do you plan for us to stay here, Dunes? Are we resupplying and making our way out, or are we building an empire?
Where are you going?
Oh,
Searching
we're
for a
going to chase down
mountain.
the mountain when it's over.
He like steps forward as if he's like half fainting, and he regains himself. A real mountain.
A real one.
A real one.
We saw it.
Oh God, you
Us
guys
and a
are
lot of
stupid.
others.
You actually saw one. How can a few people come into bars and say that they found them, and then there's no way that's real. There's no way that's real. Where are you at? Do
It
I
is.
want to know where you're going?
Maybe not. Maybe do. That is for you to decide. Regardless, yes, I think through the connections we're able to build, if we get a decent enough influence, we can get away with things, like the Badger did.
Yeah, sure.
What's
Okay.
your interest in mountains?
I don't have
He's a
any.
miner.
They're not real.
If they
Hey, you
were,
just said you were mining one. Mining looking for the remnants of one.
I'm gonna go up to the door and I'm gonna listen closely to see if anybody's listening on the other side, or if we're secure in this
Make a
room.
perception check based on hearing.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
You do hear very faint breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you go over to the door, and he's like, okay, I can make some. I'm not just gonna tell you where it is when I make them, but if
I raise a finger up and
is he still dripping?
Wait. No. Regardless, let us talk about.
I go like this and 2 hours. Gamlin and Dunes both hear through my psychic telekinetic speaking, my psychic telepathic speaking,
There you go.
shh in their heads.
Right.
There's somebody on the other side of this door. They hear telepathically.
I'm just kind of reeling for that. Then I'm like, well, it's not the way to sting up here, son, yet. But
Galen freezes.
You can
Gamlin.
speak back to me through our heads.
Okay,
We can all speak to each other in our heads right now.
Did they say
Somebody's
we hear Eleanor snoring.
like chainsaw?
Yeah. I just say, that dirty scoundrel. How could he do that to me? No, wait, we're in this town. What am I saying? Okay. What should we do then? Also, how long can you done this? Have you been hiding this from me?
Didn't say anything.
I'm gonna flick my hand out and my talons are going to extend, and I'm going to slowly put my hand on the door handle, and I'm going to open the door and grab. I'm just going to aim for chest collar level, and like I'm trying to catch somebody by surprise to yank them into the room.
Terrence, how tall are you? And Light Upon Dunes, how tall are you?
Terrence is 5'7".
I always imagined I was like an average 5'5", just even 5'5", around that ballpark. Not tall at all.
Okay, so yeah, make an attack roll.
Unarmed attack.
Mm-hmm.
21.
Jesus, yeah. So you reach out, scary talons fully splayed. Like you open the door, you get a glimpse of this person, and you immediately like aim slightly lower so you don't just like shred their face, and you pull into the room. I assume.
Mm-hmm. I throw them into the room, close the door,
A-
and immediately just try to leap on them.
Siamese cat beast folk, and you're trying to attack them.
Pin them
Okay.
or restrain them. I'm not looking to like attack or gore or anything like
Yeah,
that.
make an attack roll with advantage for sure. And then I'll just do
I guess I'm going for like a grapple or
plus
something.
2. Yeah.
A grapple to a pin.
Beat an 11.
That's a 16.
Okay. Yeah. So you immediately pin them to the ground and they start like sputtering and choking and like looking around the room.
I am my luck, I swear. I apologize, Doctor. I should have assumed this.
Who is this?
Oh, I don't know. I recognize them as being one of the Badger's followers.
Yeah, you and Gamlin both do. Gamlin just like kind of goes more pale than he is.
Ah,
Fainting
that's
goat at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like his knees lock, he falls over, joins Eleanor on the bed.
that's one of that nobles out in the lobby that beat up Gamlin earlier's followers. Should have known that would have happened.
Is it worth it to let him live?
Well, I will ease down on it. Good friend. I lean down. I honestly don't like violence that much. It's a part of surviving, but in a situation like this, I just detest it. I'm not going to have to. We're not going to have to get violent,
they're
are
like
we?
grasping at their throat. It seems like they kind of can't breathe.
I'm going to loosen my grip slightly.
What?
Basically, what is going to happen? Why did you come and listen in on us?
Because I thought it would be a good idea.
You thought it'd be a
It's
good
terrible
idea.
idea.
That's
I
awful
see
idea.
that now.
What are you going to do for us? What are you going to give us? Is it worth it to let you go? Should I kill you now?
I don't have anything.
What happens if you die? Does your boss come after us?
I probably would. Like,
Probably would not.
You just you see like shame and roll insight.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
by the slamming of someone like on the ground in this conversation, Eleanor, you do wake up just with 2 levels of exhaustion instead of 3. It's been like
Just
like an
hair
hour,
now
yeah.
slicked this way.
Mhm. Eyebrow like.
The fuck are you doing?
That's a 24 on insight.
Okay. Yeah, as you're questioning, you immediately get like you feel a weird sense of pity as this person basically admits through their demeanor alone, if you killed me, the Badger wouldn't care at all. Like nothing would happen. I was just here to maybe get an edge on the situation. It's like basically they give you like through eye contact an admittance of I don't have any value.
You're a lackey. Okay, well, you're not going home anytime soon, and I will slowly get up off of him and just stand in front of the door. So, what's your name?
Tappy, give me a name for a sheep folk.
I thought there was a Siamese cat.
Oh, that's right. Nope, sorry.
Yeah.
That was my first idea. Yeah. Okay.
Zhonghua. No one remembers that show, man.
I remember Shanghua,
Yeah,
the
that's a good
Siamese whatever
Sure,
cat.
Shanghua.
yeah Siamese Chinese cat.
Shanghua.
Just gua.
All right.
Guava works.
Guava juice.
Guava.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they have no occupation. It's just gua.
Let's say she says that her name is Gua.
Okay. That's all right
Who are
then.
these
What a
people in our room?
Yeah, there's just a goat and another naked cat person, basically, that are just throwing you off completely. You probably haven't seen a Siamese cat folk in any capacity because you live in a colder climate.
this is Gamlin White. I introduced him here. I was hoping you two would get along. That person kind of followed us here. And yeah, y'all are the ones with the expertise in this, in these kind of arts. I'm just some guy that reads the stars. You know, I am.
I'm just someone
I
with good ears. I shouldn't be here.
That's okay. We have voices that carry, and I'm gonna look at Dunes, and I'm
Just
going to
nods.
speak to Dunes telepathically. Dunes, we
Yeah.
are in a town of thieves and bad guys. And the more and louder we talk about drugs and people who make them, it's like drawing moths to a torch, and we're only fueling the fire. We don't want a torch. We want to keep the fire dim.
But I
We're
thought
adding
you wanted more followers while you're here.
discreetly. We need to come up with a plan first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So no fueling the fire until we come up with a plan.
Okay, no setting anyone on fire. Got it.
And stop using Gamlin's name out loud or talking about drugs entirely.
Hmm. That will be difficult, but in this town, but can do.
Speak to me like this if you want to talk about drugs or plans.
Oh,
Is this all
Oh,
through
that's nice.
message?
It's my psychic connection lasts a number of hours equal to my
Okay, so
psychic
yeah,
die
it's
roll, so 2 hours.
the Siamese Gua can't hear you.
Cannot.
Mhm.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all through
Yeah, gotcha.
telepathy.
Wah, you said that's your name?
It just like looks at you and nods while like holding their clearly sore throat.
Come here, and I'll pat the bed next to me.
She sits down next to you.
I'm just gonna look her dead in the eyes and just kind of scan her up and down and just. I'm assuming you don't know who we are or anything that's really happening. You only heard what you heard, right? Fantastic. Well, we're the type of people that cause a lot of ruckus when we go to place to place. And you know what type of people do that sort of thing, right?
People that I should avoid.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what are you doing?
Where are you?
Just kind of like as a Siamese cat would be able to, like blushes. It's just like, no shit, I'm in a place where I'm not avoiding you at all.
Mm-hmm. Right. I have an offer, though. You get to keep living. It's great. You just get to be our ear now.
It's less of an offer, more of a recommendation.
She nods.
Fantastic. Here, as just a token of my good faith, you can have this, and I'll give her just. I have a tiny like pocket knife, and just hand it to her. Now, what are you going to do with this?
Nothing. Why do I need this?
You can sell it.
I don't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like very shakily, like she clearly has not held a weapon before in any capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like tries to maybe sheath it and just puts it in like a rucksack that she has like on like a saddlebag, pretty much.
Amazing. So, my name is Eleanor, and you work for me now.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Make a intimidation check. I feel like that'd be better.
Natural 18 for
yo,
17.
let's go.
Nice.
I am a
Okay.
4'2" bunny.
Yeah, you can tell that she like very genuinely has reservations. You can tell that her patron is a terrifying character that she is not keen on betraying very quickly. But your threat is actually like you've been in situations like this before. At least you've watched them transpire very close to you while growing up, and you're able to tell when people are holding out. Like, okay, I can leave the situation and I'll be fine. You're actually breaking through that shell. She's like legitimately terrified. Like, I might fucking see these people again and they'll kill me if I mess up. So you see that shift in her eyes.
Amazing.
I was like, I do say to Sam, see, y'all are so much better at this than me. I apologize. That's why I was just trying to get y'all there so this conversation can happen. It all worked out. There we go. See,
It did
I
work
am
out.
lucky after all.
I'd be very happy to leave now.
Can go. And just come back here every, let's say, when it starts to get dim.
And what did I hear today?
Yeah, just word around town,
No,
things that you hear.
What did I hear here today?
What did you hear today? Some people passing by talking about how their asses itch and mostly just loud snoring
Okay.
and maybe the sound of water being drank, but not much else.
Okay.
Fantastic. Be on your way. I expect a lot from you now. And don't disappoint me.
Okay. And she leaves. And off screen, I'm going to roll a deception and a insight check.
This will go fine, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Eleanor's not low-key supposed to become a next mob boss. What are you talking about?
And she leaves.
Level 3, we're on our way.
And Gamlin.
She's gonna look very disappointed at everybody else in the room.
Gamlin has like he entered the room when you were asleep, and now that you're awake, he's just like wide-eyed, legitimately like knees borderline locked.
Now who's this one?
This is a new friend.
Gamlin.
He makes, and I hold out the bottle.
Gotcha.
And he speaks with a bit more hushed tone now that he knows that people can listen in. It seems like he's very amateur in like everything he's dealing with. I'm new to this, but I know how to make the slurry.
Tools?
What about them?
Do you have them?
Yeah.
Good.
Not on me. I have them in my workshop.
Okay. Oh, I still feel terrible. So, have we already figured out that you're working for us, or is this more of a partnership?
You're the one good at that. I just brought them here.
If you want me to be entirely honest, I really do think that's going to be decided at the arena tomorrow.
I best need to get to work then.
Because I know it's not my place to say, and it's not a safe place to say it, but I feel like I've always been an honest person. So if you go to the arena and you fail, I can easily find someone else who's stronger than you to protect me. I could probably find a way. So if you prove that you're as strong as you're presenting yourself to be, I can do anything through you. It's that's just the hierarchy of where we live. That's what this place is.
Wonderful.
That's reasonable.
Harsh, but true. So how is it?
Oddly harsh.
I'm
It's the reality of this place.
if you're brutal to me now, I mean it's.
We
Not
gain
as
nothing to being brutal to you.
Exactly, you wouldn't gain anything.
We have no gain in intimidating you either.
I mean that was a proper display right there, but I haven't seen. You know the if I may, the meat and potatoes of what you people are.
We can show you.
I guess
Not here. Not as a threat.
Taste.
That's not a smart threat. I don't think. I think my skill set is pretty unique outside of the environment you're trying to build. Doesn't fit.
Well, if we have a tournament to make to tomorrow to impress you, to see if we can get your working hand with us, I have an engine to go build.
There are three major events tomorrow and 2 the day after. prove yourself in one, maybe two of them, you'll have lackeys. You'll have a lot. But if you go down or if you forfeit, I genuinely hope never to see you again.
Ooh, harsh.
It'll probably be the end of us if we forfeit here.
Mm-hmm.
If we fail here.
Depends on your opponent. Just don't go against the badger. Oh, my music stopped. My bad.
Would one of you like to walk me back up to our engine friend?
Certainly.
The casual music that I just restarted, like popping in, like da-da-da, after all that shit. Yeah, we'll continue a little bit further. So this goat character will leave your room along with the Siamese cat, who is a part of this badger band that you guys have introduced. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new characters that you guys have introduced. I'm happy to flesh them out. Are you guys going all the way back to the top to meet with I got his name wrong. It was starts with a B.
Barrett.
Bareth. Yeah, not Gareth.
Yeah, I was the one who messed it up and said Gareth.
Garen.
Aerith and the engine.
So yeah, Terrence, you have awoken with a profound perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say at this point, now that the other two characters in this tension, like the tension was twice as tense as it should have been. Now that you're coming down, you're able to basically have lived through a good and bad trip in sequence.
You are at peace with both kinds of trip.
All right. I'm going to try and recall what I was thinking in that tangent, in that stupor that I was in, about how we are all just surviving and magic and technology is all tools to us. And I remember me reaching out somehow through my
Genuinely
stupor.
make either a history or a flat intelligence check.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like remembering a dream, kind of.
Cocked. All right. 22.
Yeah, you're kind of able to conclude that, you have a brief moment where you think about Bareth, and you're like, man, that guy's just mean for no reason. Like, there's no reason that he should have any difference between, like, where I am now and where he is now. Like, you have, like, this kind of counteractive beef with Bareth in your own mind, where you're like, man, he's just, what the fuck?
There's no need for this anymore.
You're able to kind of cement that even though the paths to get to technological mastery or magical mastery are different, and you can't walk them both, they are fundamentally the same.
All right. I'm going to think and recall that I spoke to Dunes with my mind and realize, oh, I actually did that. And I'm going to try and tap into that same train of thought of patterns as I'm staring at my hand and realizing that I am my dagger. And we're going to visualize my dagger in my hand as there is a soft little crackle of purple energy and a little purple crystalline glowing dagger apparates in my hand.
Okay.
As I summon my soul blade.
Oh,
This is where you get your subclass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is probably a good point to end. We're at 2:05. So let's say that this is the point where everyone has fully, like, long rested. Eleanor, you need another day for sure. And everyone is, like, the rest of you have just been, like, pressing your luck. You guys need to fucking crash. So level up and explain a bit further how you get your subclasses, if you do. So you feel connected to your blade entirely. Go into that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. I feel like because of my connection in my research to not only the Hell Dwellers, but I guess in a way,
You're literally cursed by the heart of a Hell Dweller. So that's interesting.
yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now, is that I feel like there's always been something pushing me away, and this level of inebriation
Like shattered that
going
veil for you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just broke it down, and I had a little what if moment, and I knocked down the door that I thought was there, and it fell apart like sheet glass. And now I'm beginning to open my mind up and tap into the potential that I've been unknowingly keeping myself from. It's like that moment where Naruto reaches his hands through
That's
the
beautifully
bars.
poetic.
Yeah.
Or recent One Piece stuff that I haven't been spoiled for yet, but I know it's coming. Shit's
Rip.
about to happen. Have you got there yet, Chuck?
I'm caught up the manga. It's
Oh,
so
goddamn.
good right now.
I don't know the second name for his fruit.
You don't?
yeah,
Oh man.
No, I'm
That's
sorry.
where Terrence
Yeah.
is that he has broken that wall,
Yeah.
and now he's learning to manipulate the potential that he has sworn off for reasons he can't even
Okay, that's so
fathom
fucking
why
cool.
he
So,
kept.
so for those of us who are watching back through the VOD, what is your level up? What are you going into?
I'm going from a 2nd level rogue to a 3rd level rogue, and my subclass is
Arcane
the
Trickster?
soul knife.
Soul Knife.
The
Okay.
soul knife. I'm going with the soul knife.
And that is. Just give me a brief description, because
The soul knife is basically tapping into psionic powers that allow me to not only bolster my mental capacity, but I can utilize it to quite literally shape and augment my abilities, which is funny that you said augmentative drug.
So you are
So
you're an outlier in like this setting.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
shouldn't
no.
happen.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
so
like
cool.
I
Okay.
my subclass is because of a byproduct event.
Yeah, of
Of-
your
of
ego
this
dying
setting.
and you're realizing, oh, I can do different things. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've reawoken
I like
with
that.
the capability. I basically shattered my inhibitors. Like
one punch
Mhm.
stuff. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you could say it like that. I basically knocked down any walls that told me like why it's like a sorcerer being raised to believe that he shouldn't wield his powers.
You're now truly searching for yourself, not an image of yourself. That's fucking awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to discover myself, which is
Let's go.
that's where I'm at right
Yeah.
now.
Let's go backwards through the crew. So, Light Upon Dunes. You getting a subclass right now?
Since I'm a sorcerer, I got mine stuff at 1st level. So what I'm going to say I do is,
What do
get
you
2nd level
get, and then
spells.
how do you explain it?
so I'm just getting 2nd level spells now. That's the main thing I get in my mad magic.
So yeah, let's
meta magic.
say during this day, especially from the bay, like you look out the window and you see again that just everything fading, and you see the cosmos above you again. What do you get from that?
So I just kind of fixate on like the light around me, and it's like and just thinking like the light's so soft, only I can manifest that into power. Wait, I got it now. I can shape the light and bend it to my will. And I want to say I just kind of go into this deep meditative state, and I just start pulling out my scroll and just start writing down, focusing. And then in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
I just hold out my hand, and a small spear of fire emerges as I cast a flaming spear.
Okay. I'll say that, yeah, over the past few days, or at least couple days, you guys have been traveling. You've also been, like, expanding into this kind of mindset and this ability of shaping light, shaping the stars and everything around you, so you're able to manifest a spear of light or fire.
I'm going to say it's pure light, as I'm just like,
Okay. That's so fucking cool.
I'm now a star.
And then you play an air guitar and it actually does music. And lastly, our good friend Tabby, Eleanor. Level 3, right? I have never played Artificer or Artificer.
Yeah,
is the
what
only class
subclass
I've
you going?
never played before, so I don't know. What
I am going the Armorer.
Yeah.
That's right. You
I'm
mentioned.
going up to
Hey.
speaking with our engine and just asking the question. We're both pretty smart people. We can put things together. what do you think about this? And I just hand them my book of blueprints, such as the gauntlets, the armors, and just
Okay.
all the supportive braces. And just like it's a smaller version of their giant mech.
Oh, that's so
For
cool.
someone
so,
to
So
ride.
like we're ending on a note for the other two where it's like the end or the beginning of a story, and then for you, it's like literally the middle arc of like Iron Man.
Mhm.
Just like, okay, I have an idea, and now you're getting to work to like to get toward that subclass. That's so cool.
And I am going to draw some fucking cool rabbit mech.
Oh,
Let's
I'm
go.
so down for
I'm
that.
gonna draw some soul knife Terrans for sure.
I'm so down. I'm so excited. It's good to have artists in the party. For those of you who've been watching, next to the donation pool on the other side of our good friend Rye, is just a bit of cycling of art through the game. You know, the two sequential characters, that's the little NPC that we have waiting at the top of the ravine, but the rest is like races and stuff. So we'll probably add more to that, especially now. But yeah, I think that's kind of the end of the game. We'll be able to see these new augmented players, as well as hopefully Mario, who vanished at the beginning of the game, like 2 minutes before we were able to start. And we'll see what happened to our good friend Bareth up at the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. Let's see what barbarian path he takes.
This will be fun. But yeah, until next week. Thanks for tuning in. Mostly us, but you know, this will be a VOD and whatever. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Animation right now.
Yeah.